Are they ready for marriage? In this video, I'm going to cover my 8 tips on to know, are they ready for marriage? Do they check these boxes? And number 8 is a doozy. It's very personal, so you want to stay to the very end, or I don't even care if you fast forward, but number 8 is definitely one you want to pay attention to. Okay? I'm Dani Wigfall. Welcome. I am your go-to relationship coach. I also happen to be a creative artist, a therapist. People say, what type of therapist? A mental health therapist, a mom, a wife, a whole list of things that I'm not going to get into right now. Here on my channel, I help people fall deeper in love with themselves and possibly someone else. If you're looking for that someone else and you just want the tea, you want to know, okay, is this person right for me? Am I headed in the right direction? Am I ready for a relationship? Stick right here. This is the channel for you. Hit subscribe. Now, let's get into the topic of today. Okay, how do you know that they are ready to get married? Are they ready to say I do, or I will, or I am? All of the cool things? Now, even if they have proposed and you guys haven't walked down the aisle yet, okay, just before you do, please watch this video until the very end. I don't want you making any mistakes, and I don't want you coming back to me saying, I didn't tell you, okay? I told you, okay? You just didn't listen. You didn't put that boundary up. You didn't listen, okay? So please listen. This is a video where I feel like this is just helpful in general. Like, I wish I had something like this. Not that I would change things, but having these things ahead of time is just so helpful. So, getting into it, number 1, are they truly committed to you? Just you, they're committed to you. And I'm not saying that, okay, maybe they have made a mistake in the past or things like that, and it was a one-time offense, and now you guys are going through a healing process. Like, I'm talking about maybe there's some cheating or infidelity, things like that. If it was a one-time situation and you guys have gotten past that, it was confronted, there's healing that's happening, all of those things, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if they keep cheating, and I'm just going to call a spade, or if they keep seeking attention from someone else they may be interested in, they are not committed to you. If it's just constantly, I'm seeking attention, I need this from someone else, and you're not giving it, they are not ready, okay? They need to be fully committed to you. And that doesn't mean that they don't love you, but they need to be committed to you. That's something totally different. Just because they have your attention doesn't mean they're committed to you. Just because they're showing you attention doesn't mean they're committed to you. So know the difference. Attention is very different than commitment. Number 2, do they respect you? But we're not leaving it at that. Do they respect you when you aren't around? That's the piece, right? And so sometimes we can get clues of that when they come back from hanging with their friends or being out, whatever that may be. And you're like, oh, how was your day? Or how was this? Or whatever you may ask. If they give you clues that they were kind of down in you or saying negative things about you or things, sometimes people can mess up on their words and they say things that they don't mean to say. But if they're really down in you and just like not being respectful towards you, maybe being overly flirtatious to the point that they're thinking of, maybe there could be some other things here, possibility with someone else. If they aren't respecting you when you aren't there, huge red flag. Maybe they are not ready to get married, okay? So pay attention to what they're saying about you when you aren't there, if they tell you. Now, sometimes they may not tell you, and you can only go off of, are they respecting you in public? How about this one? Are they respecting you when people they respect are around? Okay? Or are they throwing you constantly under the bus? If you're constantly getting thrown under the bus, oh, just like when you do this or just like when you do that, if that is just constantly, that's not a good look. It's just not a good look. It's one thing to have banter back and forth. It's another thing when it seems like your partner may be showing out for other people, meaning they want the approval of other people and they are willing to risk your happiness, your safety, your trust to get that approval. Bad sign right there. They are not ready just yet. Along with this point is, do they have integrity? What are they doing when no one's looking, right? So what does their phone life look like when no one's looking? Now, I'm not telling you to go look in their phone. I'm not suggesting that at all. But do they have integrity with small things, or do they lie about small things? Because what they have integrity about, and you'll see the signs if your eyes are open, okay? But sometimes we have on those love goggles to begin, so everything seems so great, or we just see it and we're like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. It is. Pay attention. Take those love goggles off, okay? Are they constantly lying about things? That shows right there, do they have integrity or not? If they don't have integrity, especially when it comes to you, don't expect them to have integrity. Like, oh, I never saw this coming. I was blindsided by this. Well, if they lie to everybody else about different things, what makes you think that they wouldn't lie to you? Oh, because they love you, so they're not going to lie to you. No, because they love you, that's why they are going to lie to you. Okay, so even more so. So pay attention to that integrity, pay attention to that respect. Are they respecting you when you aren't there? Are they respecting you when you are there? I felt like that was a given. So I jumped over that one. Okay. Number 3, are y'all talking about the future? Is that person specifically, your partner, talking about the future, or is it just you? So pay attention when future things come up. Are you the only person talking about the future? Do they have input and things that they want to add to this? Also, another thing, when you talk about the future, do your values align? That matters so much. When your values don't align, you're setting yourself up for a relationship that is going to be extremely difficult and very, very hard to just make it. I'm just gonna call a spade, okay? It's so hard to it's so hard to have a relationship when your values are aligned, let alone when they aren't. Values. Know what your values are. It could be on family, it could be on marriage, it could be on health things. Another great thing is just lifestyle, right? That's another. How do you want your lifestyle? What does that look like? That matters. Those are things that you value. What does that look like? And does it align? Do locations align? Is someone willing to budge on it if it doesn't? If not, and you're not even in the foreseeable future, and this is where this person's going, that's it, they may not be ready. So make sure you are in those future plans, and the future plans aren't only coming from you, and that your values are aligned. Another huge value I want to speak about that usually doesn't come up until there is an issue in the relationship or the marriage is values on intimacy. What does intimacy look like for you? If you had to future think about it, right? Think about it in the future. What would you love it to look like? Do those align? Have y'all talked about that, right? Sometimes we don't talk about those things, sometimes we do. But are y'all talking about what intimacy looks like in the future? And I know it may seem like, ew, don't want to talk about it, just want to do it. No, that matters. Because when you're on very different pages with that, that can cause strife and just weaken the relationship. Now, not saying that's a total deal breaker, it's not, but it's something that you two do want to get aligned on as far as what that looks like for you two. And things in life happen. There's certain seasons, not saying it's always going to look like that, because there's certain seasons in life where it does look like that, or it's aligned, and there's certain seasons where it might be off. But is that person willing to, are you guys willing to maneuver a little bit to make it work? Or is it the values just so far off when it comes to intimacy that it's like, oh, absolutely not going to work? Or we're going to make this work and we're going to figure it out as we go. Number 4, have you met anyone very, very close to them? And not just anyone. Have you met their closest people, whether it's friends or family? Sometimes people's family aren't their closest people, and it's their chosen friends. Have you met their chosen friends? Have you met their crew? Have you met their family if it's their family? Those are very important things. Okay. If you haven't met any of those people and that's important in their lives, that one is tough. And I will say that because they may value those people's opinions. I'm not saying they're going to go with them or not. That's that person's choice. But there's a box that they haven't quite checked yet that they are going to have to wrestle with, or it's going to be great. That's going to come up in your relationship, and you guys need to figure out, is this going to work? Is it going to gel well, or is it not? And is that person going to end up letting go of some friends, or are they going to end up letting go of you? Are they going to hold boundaries with family members, especially mothers that may have a tight grip on their child? Or are they going to say, oh, well, mom doesn't like you, so sorry. No, we had all that before, but this vetoes that. So just pay attention. Have you met the closest people already and had those conversations as far as how are we going to navigate this in our relationship? Or you may not have to. It may just glide like butter, but that's not everybody's situation. So you want to have that. You want to get ahead on that versus now I have this big thing I have to deal with. Also, another thing with that is if you haven't met their closest people, they may not be that into you unless their closest people just live extremely far or they're in another country, things like that. I'm not talking about that. But if their closest people are within 2 hours of you and you haven't met them, a FaceTime, a call, nothing, they just might not be that into you. I don't care what they're saying. People can talk a really, really good game. What are their actions saying? Number 5, are they sharing their insecurities with you, their vulnerabilities with you, and their fears with you? You have a deeper connection with people when they start to share those things with you. Are they sharing those things, or are they just emotionally not there? Sometimes people have to work on their emotions and how they express them, right? And it's not a bad thing. It's just something that needs work. It's an area for growth. But if they don't know how to emotionally connect, then it's going to be hard for them to emotionally connect with you deeper and deeper to grow the relationship. It might be fine where it is, but it's going to hit a point if you're focused on growth that it's not going to be enough. So, can they share these vulnerabilities with you? You also want to check, like, okay, this person's being deep, this person's being real. We have something special. This isn't anything that's surface, right? We got a really great relationship and it's going in a great direction. You don't want to just see it for what it is. You also want to see and have some vision for your relationship. Now, vision, when I say vision, that does not mean we're painting red flags pink because I have a vision that I'm going to change this person. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Having a vision for your relationship of what you can grow and actually changing someone, two different things, okay? It's important to have vision for your relationship. It's important to have goals. If you have goals, oh, we would love to accomplish this. It's things to start thinking about. It's not a make or break situation, but it's great things to think about. Now, thinking about changing that person, I have to clarify because people are like, I had this vision for the relationship that this person was my partner was going to do X, Y, and Z, and then they were going to do this. And they never even gave you any hints that that's something they wanted to do or was going to do, or it was just you trying to fix them, change them, or be the hero in the situation. You should not be the hero in your relationship. I'm going to say that again. You should not be, I'm the hero in my relationship. No. It takes two of you, okay? It should be like driving a car. You need to do little maneuvers to move forward together. Both of you. If one person's just going, you're going to go round and round and round, and it's going to be all about one person. The other person's dragging along until they decide to fall off. Vice versa, okay? It takes little maneuvers and little shifts from both parties, to move forward or to go along the road, however the road may go. It's going to take both of those shifts. Number 6. Now, this is a big one, okay? Put your listening ears on. Take some notes. I do not want you to miss this. This is how you know. Do they do things for you even when it inconveniences them? So it's easy for people to, oh, let me do this. I have free time. Or, oh, I'm not doing anything. I want some attention. Let me call on my partner. No. But when they're in the midst of things or it's something they have to sacrifice, are they willing to make those sacrifices for you? Are they willing to inconvenience themselves for you? If the only time they're doing things for you or with you is when it's convenient for them, they're not ready. They are not ready at all. At all. Okay? So pay attention to those times. Pay attention to the signs. Now, I'm not saying every single time this needs to happen, but some of the times, are they willing to lay down what they really, really want to do something with you or for you? If every time they're just choosing themselves, they're going to continue to choose themselves in the relationship, disregard to your feelings, disregard to your thoughts, disregard to you in general. So you don't want someone that's disregarding you and just has you around for convenience. You want someone that you're building a life with together. Do you still have some independence in that? Absolutely. But it looks different when you're independent but dependent. Okay? Looks totally different. Another thing to check is, do they care about your needs? Now, hopefully they care about other people, but we're going to throw this in there because you get people that only care about themselves and all they can see is themselves, and you may be tallying along for the ride as they care about themselves and they're showing you attention, so you might get confused into thinking, wow, yes, this is the person, they're showing me attention. No, they are on their own journey, focused on them, and they may not care about other people. Pay attention. Do they care about other people outside of themselves? Do they have empathy? Can they show empathy? So just pay attention to those things, because that, if they don't care about other people, you might be a status, there might be some insecurity or some reason as to why they're with you that may not be on the same page as to why you want a relationship. So make sure they care about other people, okay? Not just themselves, not just themselves. And you can be selfish and still care about other people. But if it's someone that's just like, well, oh well for them, oh well for them, and that's every scenario, they're most likely saying, oh well to you as well. Okay, for the last and final point, this is huge, okay? All of us have growth areas. We have areas we can improve on. Some of us have red flags that are turning pink. We do. But is your partner working on those things? Or is it, well, you get what you get, you know who you're with, you know this is how I am? Is it a fixed mindset? Like, this is not changing about me, okay? If it's a challenge or a growth area for you guys' relationship, I want you to think twice before you're committing your whole life to this person or committing that season to that person, okay? If they're not willing to grow, they're not willing to change or shift or manage certain things, this may not be the person for you. For example, let's say someone has an issue with selfishness, right? People can be selfish. Your partner might be selfish. But if they're not willing to grow in that area and they're not taking the steps to grow in that area, mm-mm, mm-mm. Do not marry them, okay? Because it may just get worse from there, okay? It just may, or it may just stay like that, where they continue to be selfish, selfish, selfish. They're not working on themselves. And then you're going to see so many issues and problems within the relationship when someone is just individually focused and not focused on you two as a unit. Another example might be, let's say, if they have anger issues. Anger issues isn't a red flag unless there is some type of, you know what, I don't even have to say it, and I'm not going to say it for the sake of you too. But if anger is going into a physical realm, absolutely not. If anger is going into just very much emotional tear down of you, no. Those things do have to be worked on. Those things there's healing that needs to happen as to why that person is taking things out on you. There's a lot that needs to happen there, okay? And if they aren't even working on it at all, oh no, they are not ready for marriage. And if you are accepting that, you aren't either. So if there are growth areas and they've been called out, sometimes we're not aware of it, but once we're aware of it, and it's something that's a big thing that can turn into a huge thing, how is your partner working on these things so that they can improve and they can grow? Do they have a fixed mindset where they're not choosing to grow? They're not choosing to go in something that's going to build the relationship. If they're not choosing to build the relationship, they're tearing down the relationship. So what is your partner choosing? Because that's going to let you know what they really want at the end of the day. Do they really want a relationship that's going to grow? Because if you aren't growing, then you're dying. And that's what's going to happen in this relationship. Giving you the heads up. I told you number 8 was a doozy. Okay, it's a doozy. And no one's perfect. Okay, so as you're like, they're not doing it, they're not doing it. No, sometimes you have to help your partner. I'm not saying carry the football to the finish line for them, right? Touchdown, whatever that area is. I'm not saying that, but you might need to hand them the ball. You might have to toss them the ball. Hey, I noticed you have, we've had this issue in our relationship. You might have some anger issues there. Point them in the direction of where they can be supported. That's not for you to be their support. Let me make that very clear. It's not your job to be their healing support in that and walk them through all of these things. No. Can you assist? Absolutely. As you should. It's only going to help the relationship. But it's not for you to be the be all end all in their journey with that. So if it is anger issues, have them talk to an anger coach, a therapist, or someone that you guys trust that specialize in those issues, whether it's books, whether it's podcasts, whether it's people, whether it's a community, whether it's a group, whatever it may be. Make sure that they're going towards the growth of getting better. And now getting better doesn't mean perfect. It means progress. That's what you're looking for. Are they progressing in these areas? Do they want to? Are they taking the action? Pay attention. Or are they just talking about it? Yeah, okay, I'll get better at it, but they're not really working on it. Okay, that's where your assist might have to come in, because this might be a bigger thing for them than they realize. It may not be because they don't want to, it just might be fears along and trauma tied to it. Okay, now on the other side of the spectrum, if they are just stuck in their ways and they have a fixed mindset that this is how I am, I'm not changing it, are you going to accept that? Is that good for you to accept it? Because if that's the case, then there's no more complaining about it. There's no more. Are you okay accepting that? Is it something you feel like you should accept? It's up to you. Because sometimes we need our own work as to why are we accepting certain things? What do we truly think about ourselves? I can tell you what someone thinks about themselves by what they accept into their life. Different behaviors they accept as well. All right. I told you number 8 was a doozy. I've said that twice now. But I wanted to make sure you got these points before you're walking down the aisle or committing yourselves to someone. Check these areas first, okay? Don't just say I do because, oh yeah, it seems good and it sounds great. And yes, I really want to be married. I want whatever, fill in the blank, or this feels like this should be the next step. Hopefully this list was very helpful for you. If you need to go back through it, watch it again. If you need to take some notes, take some notes, okay? The most important thing is that you're growing, your partner is growing, and you guys are choosing growth over, well, this is how it is. It's not going to change. Your relationship can change if both parties are willing and open to it, okay? It can look different. Now, it can grow apart as well when we don't pay attention to our relationship, when we don't put intention behind it. Okay, so pay attention to this list specifically. Are y'all ready to walk down the aisle or sign the document, sign the contract that says we're married for life? Are you ready for that? Or do we have some areas maybe we want to work on before we do that? These are the things that people aren't talking about. A lot of times it's like, oh, I need to have my finances in order, or I need to have this house, or I need to have all these things. Check. But they aren't checking these things. These things matter before you decide to choose this person for the rest of your life. All right. Hopefully this list was very helpful. I had fun writing it, creating it, thinking about it. Sharing is caring. So if you got value from this video, even if it's one nugget, also share it with a friend. Show that you care. Okay, now don't say it as if I told you this person wasn't the one. Watch this video. Nope, we're not doing that, okay? But share this video with a friend. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe, okay? We got some new subscribers, so I am growing. I'm really excited that you guys are finding value in this content. Hopefully, these are things that can change your life. All right, until next Tuesday, I'll see you then.